Washington Commanders post-game show radio host Scott Jackson. I'm Craig Loper. This is the Washington Huddle web exclusive this week. All right, here we go. Two big trades. Montez Sweat to the Bears, second-round pick. Chase Young to the 49ers. Washington gets back a third-round pick. Weird, Trent Williams fetched a third-round pick. And we know how that – no, I'm just kidding. No. Scott, just impressions of this. Two guys, maybe thought one was out the door, but both seemed a little surprising.
Yeah, I think the Montez Sweat part of it was surprising, but they've got good value for him. I mean, you're going to get a pick that's going to be in the 30s, maybe mid to low 30s, hopefully from the Bears. The Young thing, not surprised. There was a lot of rumblings they wanted to move him. I really think if you look back at training camp when there was a tweet, I think one of the national guys, Albert Breer, was bragging about Chase Young in his first day when he wasn't even with the team on the field. He was on the side field, and Albert Breer wasn't even at camp, which was weird. It's like, where is this coming from? So it felt like the organization was putting some of this stuff into existence to kind of drum up support. They played him more snaps than the other D linemen throughout the season. Yeah. Also, I think a sign they were trying to show, hey, he's healthy. Look, guys, he's fine. And that was a little strange, too. But, here they are. Moving on from both of them, it's a little shock to the system, I think, but I do think they have capable players to plug and play.
Although every time you watch a Commanders game on a national broadcast, what do you hear? It's the 4 first-round picks on the defensive line.
Stop doing that.
It's over. It's over. That defensive line no longer. There's only 2 first-round picks.
The 29th defense in the NFL, by the way.
Yeah,
right. Now,
right.
So.
Just a reminder, Chase Young, the franchise did not pick up his 5th-year option. Right. So
this was it for him.
This was it for him, unless he came out in these first 7-8 games and looked like 2020 Chase Young, which hasn't been the case. Next point of discussion here is when you break this down, Josh Harris and this ownership group, they have a history of breaking things down. Not to the extent maybe that the 76ers were back in the day, but 2 key players out of there. Now it begs the question, where's the direction with these players and this coaching staff? Is it possible this coaching staff is just a lame-duck coaching staff the rest of the year?
It feels like it, but at the same time, if they make the playoffs, maybe not. Maybe that changes the things. I mean, look, and I think Josh Harris, there was a story this year that he was going to let it play out through the season, then they're going to evaluate everything at the end of the year. I would imagine, though, at the same time, he has just brought in a head of analytics. This person's going to be reporting to him, telling him what he's seeing, what he's feeling about where the roster construction is, those kind of things. I'm sure Josh Harris is somebody on the outside of the Commanders, too, he can lean on. Remember, he was with the Steelers for a while as a small, investor in Pittsburgh. So he kind of has a few friends in the NFL, I would imagine, that can kind of consult him. But, yeah, you have to look at everything as the year comes to an end. And it's great you have these picks. It's great you have the cap space. But you really have to ask yourself, are you comfortable with this front office, this coach? And it's the same thing. You can't separate the two, making those decisions moving forward. Because, again, his first pick that he ever made for your franchise, he told you, is worth giving up for a third-round compensatory pick. That's not a great look. This year's draft class has been awful. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They're barely getting on the field. Now they're going to have to play more, but it hasn't been good. So the Sam Howell pick is the one thing that's has been his life preserver, right? If they can, and he's smart. He keeps bringing it up. This young quarterback, development, and that's what you should be promoting, because clearly wins and losses has not been your strong suit during your tenure.
Yeah, I think Rivera's saying today that the analytics look good on Sam Howell, and this is what a young quarterback should be doing. So I always think of analytics guys, by the way, like in this dark room in the facility in a closet, like printing out, I don't know, well, not printing anything anymore, but like sending these reports, and Rivera's like reviewing them. Moving on to just recapping the Eagles game quickly, that balance lacked again. Sam Howell dropped back a whole bunch of times, like 50 plus or something. And they're just not on the same level with the Eagles, although they did play them close twice now this season.
Yeah, they did. And I think the Eagles almost, I don't want to say they're toying with them, but they get interested when they get down by a couple scores. Yeah. Fascinating thing about the Eagles, by the way, down 2 scores, they continue to run the ball. And they weren't running it great, but they give it off. It just, it saves the wear and tear on your quarterback and your offensive line just to mix it in and keep the defense honest. But that's the Eagles, and they're champions. What do they know? Yeah. But the Commanders, on the other side, continue to want to play this drop-back game every week. And although it looks good for the statistical numbers for, the offense, it's still not winning, right? 52 passes from Sam Howell didn't win, and it hasn't won for them yet. And there really wasn't as necessary last week, because they did have a lead for a significant portion of this football game. And, again, it was a 1-score game back and forth. They could have kept the run alive, kept Robinson in the game plan. They choose not to do it. And it's actually amazing he only got sacked 1 time, which is the good news, I guess.
Just quickly here, now Washington going to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots, also a struggling team there, Bill Belichick-led team. What do we think? Just quick synopsis of this matchup.
From the coaching standpoint, I worry a little bit because, again, Belichick has been great at scrambling rookie quarterbacks' brains usually out there. Hopefully Sam Howell's got the Tua magic and can beat Belichick. We'll see.
7-0
Yeah, and then from the defensive part of it, do these guys get a bump from the trade? Because I think they're hearing everybody writing their obituary this week. I think there could be a real good motivational point here for Jack Del Rio on the defensive side with these guys. And, again, Hill and James Smith-Williams have been productive when given opportunities with this defense.
Yeah, both I think have played just about over 100 snaps this year, and I agree with that. I think Hill and Smith-Williams, they're going to look at this as an opportunity. They're coming out party. They want to show, hey, they're NFL players too. They were drafted in 2020. They've been in the system for a while. And getting back to the cap space and the picks real quick, just my thoughts here. Where you pick isn't as important as who you pick.
Sure.
Just pick the right guys, right? That's the biggest thing. It's pick the right guys because everyone's talking about, oh, this is a high pick. This could be this.
Yeah.
Well, if you pick Jamarcus Russell, you pick Jamarcus Russell. You know, it's
and
like,
you got to develop the people no matter what round they're in.
Exactly.
You got to develop them all the same no matter what the round is.
Yeah, it looks good on paper, but pick the right guys. Anyway, that has been this week's Washington Huddle web exclusive. He's Scott Jackson. I'm Craig Loper. We'll see you next week.